Sure.
We are recording. Nice.
Great. So how were these months? How are you dealing with all the situation?
Well, I'm dealing it okay. I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but when the whole thing started, I was actually in China, and I already got my lockdown in China. And when
Right.
finally come back here to Spain, it also started here. So it seems like the virus is following me wherever I go.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
so far everything is good. I'm kind of already used to the remote working experience, and it's cool.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like I was actually, yeah, I remember when it started the quarantine, I just had a weekend. I think I was in
Yeah,
Canary Island, so I was afraid
yeah,
that I couldn't come back here because they
right.
were
Yeah.
closing everything. I just literally arrived with the last
Mhm.
flight, and then like we could enter, we could come back. From the day after, everything was shut
You
down.
were lucky, right? You could
Yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
come back to
It was
here.
it was very very weird experience. But fortunately now I think the situation is much
Mhm.
better. So I really hope it stays this way. I finally saw we'll be opening the office, right?
We are. I think somewhere around 18th. So hopefully people can finally meet each other personally.
Nice, 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 nice. Very.
But where are you based right now?
I'm here in Barcelona. I'm sharing the apartment with my roommate. It's cool. She's working in the tourism industry though, so
Ooh,
hotels
okay.
are still shut down. So they're still trying to basically understand if opening or not.
Hmm.
That mostly will depend on the number of bookings they will have, because cities
Yeah,
like Barcelona and Madrid definitely will depend on how crowded and how many bookings they receive, especially if they are big chains.
yeah,
So they're
yeah,
trying to adapt. But as far as I know, they still don't have like fixed measures to be applied because they're waiting for tourism industries to basically
yeah,
give them
yeah.
the information.
I
So
think the travel industry is definitely suffering a lot. My parents is actually also working in the travel industry. They have their own hotel, a small hotel, but
right,
and they just bought it very recently, and they wanted to start operating in February, but with the whole COVID-19, they
mm,
got delayed, and now they are kind of negotiating with the landlord to see if they can reduce the rent and everything, because otherwise it's kind of very tough to be in the
yeah.
business.
Yeah, in fact, I know many people in the tourism industries. Some of my friends back in Milan were working in one of the
Uh-huh.
biggest tour operator from Italy, which is called
Wow.
Alpitour, and it's basically the number one in Italy, and they deal with many agencies all over the country.
Yeah.
And honestly, they really have like troubles during the
Mhm.
especially
Hello? I think you are having, or I'm having bad connection. I'm not hearing you very well.
Can you hear
Hi.
me now? Yeah, this
Yeah,
is probably
I think I got kicked out of the session. But
the recording session was a karma something of it's okay we update each other. I was very curious to see how it was going, but I didn't know about your parents with the hotel. But yes, many of my friends are in the tourism industries, and
yeah,
depends what kind of position they're covering and what type of
uh,
company it is. I know some of them and huge companies I would have never expected. Like something that got me think during the quarantine was
okay.
big companies, very big companies.
Yeah, yeah.
It not just, but it was like 2 months for
Hmm.
them to experience the worst situation ever, like the hell,
Yeah,
as you said it.
yeah,
And that
absolutely.
it was really like, um, I mean, it's challenging for sure, but it's crazy how 2 months can literally destroy everything you've been built
Yeah.
during the whole previous years. So it was really, it was having a huge impact.
I mean, like the market is very tough, and
Yeah.
when the market is tough, you cannot make you cannot make wonders here. And especially big businesses, because they have such a large cost structure, you know.
Yeah.
And if the revenue is down, they can go out of business, like any small business as well. And
Yeah.
if you think about, for example, Airbnb, right? They're pretty big, and they have a very big scale. But even in their case, they are suffering a lot. And I've been told like their whole Barcelona division was like
Right.
dismissed because they couldn't afford it anymore. You know, so
Right.
a lot of travel businesses they're suffering. And this is definitely very tough situation to be.
I also read, for example, that some other companies, for example, like two, especially in Italy, about telecommunication, basically are trying to build partnerships. I guess that was the second plan and option during the
Okay.
hectic months, in order rather than to find right now a solution because maybe everything is stopped and it doesn't depend on them. They basically tried a kind of alliance with other type of previous competitors that now are actually with
Oh
them
wow. Okay. Okay.
yeah, I really didn't understand what kind of plans they are developing, but I know them because one of my previous phone was associated to their account, and it's like
All right.
it's like
Okay.
Vodafone, but it's from Italy and
Uh-huh.
it's a small company. It's a service, telecommunication service. And apparently the other day I was checking the account and it looks like they did a partnership, so now the two accounts are together. So it's like, oh.
So what now it costs less calling people from
I think so,
other
for
telco
sure. Yes,
companies.
I'm not using the account anymore, but for sure
Okay.
they basically created this alliance between the two companies, and
Interesting.
I assume they made some deals depending on the customers, the previous one
Yeah.
they had, and yeah, just changed the type of account. But yeah, so everyone was trying to find solutions, which was well proactively, I would say.
Yeah,
So
everybody is trying to survive, you know. I've been told, like, for example, in telco industry, one
mm,
of the main challenge they are facing is the increase of internet bandwidth, you know, like
mm,
a lot of people they're staying home, so they are using more wi-fi than before.
right,
And this is causing a lot of cost for the telco businesses. In fact, Netflix they're saying like they have reduced the quality of the video 25% just
right.
to be able to handle all the demands of live streaming, you know. So I think a lot of businesses they are trying to kind of adapt as we are, right, to the
Definitely.
new situation and see how can they first survive, and then if they're doing reasonably well, how can they really take the opportunity to keep
Definitely.
growing, you know?
Yeah. At the same time, especially during these 2 months, I've been like and honestly, I also can you hear me well? Because I think it got stuck. Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you now. I think that we were stuck again.
It's okay.
That's the problem of internet bandwidth I was talking about.
It's okay. It's okay. So no, I was saying that I was very surprised because many of the restaurants, many hospitality, tourism, and industries needed to basically find new solutions right now because of this huge demand they basically found because they would have never expected.
Yeah.
They were always like open to new changes, but lately, whenever I am on calls, I realized that they felt the urgency right now. And now
Yeah.
I'm also realizing
Yeah.
myself whenever I'm sure even these 2 months, for example, you must have bought something or you tried to contact any customer service for any reason of different services you're paying maybe. And
Mhm.
honestly, they are extremely collapsed right now because
Yeah.
of the situation. So basically right now, for example, I'm trying, let's see if I can, to try to fly back to my family in July, to fly to Italy.
Okay.
Apparently, as they said, from July 1st, all the
Uh-huh.
borders will be open, so we'll be free to fly. The problem is, I assume the flight companies, the airlines, don't want to assume the cost if the flights are empty. So I guess what they're doing is they're showing different flights, but then maybe they're not full. So they're trying to understand what kind of flights they will do and what not. So the problem is, I tried to communicate.
And if they cancel, they don't pay you back, or what
No,
will happen?
exactly. It depends on the company. Some of them don't have a refund policy. What they do is giving you a credit, which basically you can apply for next flights.
Oh, I see. Yeah, absolutely.
So the problem is that apparently they said that it should be kind of mandatory to receive the refund, because it's not that we fly, like we cancel the flight for any reason. It's something that we should get as a refund. However, yeah, I just booked a few weeks before to come back to Italy in July. And honestly, my flight right the day after looks like it doesn't exist anymore on the website. So if I look at my flight, it says it basically doesn't exist. So it's very, very strange. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. And myself as a client in this time, I was thinking like, I tried to call the customer service, and I was like on a queue for probably 10-15 minutes, not able to talk to the agent.
And nobody answered.
So,
No. Yeah.
So like, I really feel that right now it's a time for new experiments and explore new solutions, because this would be really, really useful.
It's the moment for chatbots.
Exactly. In fact, I'm just waiting, and my plan, and I was talking as well to the team. I think transportation and hospitality can be another very good sector to honestly go talk to right now, because it's a necessity, especially in this moment. And in general, any kind of flight company, especially I have some friends, this was kind of fun.
Okay.
I have some friends in Saudi that told me, hey, Marika, we remember you work with chatbots. Listen, our company, which basically is their own company, in the country company, Saudia, is the airline they have, internal airline.
Yeah.
They are using a bot, apparently, on WhatsApp. And so they were like, but listen, the bot is not as good as Landbot. So can you just contact them and try to understand? And so I myself wanted to try it, So I went and I tested the bot. And honestly, the experience was not the best one. Like, that's actually true. I contacted the bot in the morning, probably 10 a.m. I didn't get a response until yesterday night at 11 p.m.
That's not a chatbot, that's a human.
Exactly. The first interaction was the bot responding me automatically with a message saying that the borders are still closed, like a kind of update. But that's it.
It's just like the first response, right?
That's it. And then I thought, okay, right after the communication, they have a human takeover, but the human never takes over. Like, it was 10 a.m. and it reached out at 11 p.m. So I would try to, like, I would really like to understand, but I am really 100% assuming that they're working a normal, with normal WhatsApp business account.
I think we are stuck again. Can you hear me? Hello?
Now it's working. You were kicking out again and then in?
I mean, it's all automatically, like Zoom kicked me out and then let me in.
Okay, yeah.
Experiences, that's kind of the worst Zoom experience ever.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe we don't publish it this time. We publish it another time.
No, people should see the real problems in the world.
That's right. Then we also need to contact them to get it better.
So you need to implement a chatbot in system.
That's right. Like a live platform, which doesn't look, the connection can also be a good plan.
But speaking about the problem you were seeing about the flight delays and flight cancel, and when I went back from China to Spain, I actually had to also cancel my initial flight and book another one. And we were at the time where like most airlines are starting to canceling a lot of flights. So I was so afraid that they will cancel mine. I had to book like one very expensive one and then try to come back very fast. So my old flight until today is still not refunded. You know,
Wow.
when I tried to contact the company, which is called C-Trip, it's kind of the sky scanner in China.
Okay. Okay.
I had like a wait line of like 6,000 people before me, you know, like they actually displays how many people were in line, so you can see if it's growing or if you are closer to become attendant. And the problem is like each time when I enter, it always grows the list instead of reducing the list. So more and more people were like on the wait list. And eventually I lost kind of the patience, and I say, fuck it, you know, I just want to come back. We'll deal it whenever we can. And yeah, until today, I still haven't got my flight refunded.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I believe you. Like we didn't have this problem. I went to Canary Island here with a friend of mine. So
Okay.
we were in Canary Island. We were in Gran Canaria, and they closed. I remember it was March 14th, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
My flight was on the 13th night. We closed everything from the morning of the 14th.
Yeah.
And at the airport from Canary Island, they were already like canceling a lot of flights. So
Okay.
basically, the airport was full of people, mostly Spanish, honestly, trying to come back home to the
yeah.
community. So we were a lot from Barcelona, and then some from, I don't remember, from Sevilla, I think, or south of Spain. And we stayed there for like 6 hours more because they wanted to only fill one flight and send us to Barcelona. And when we arrived, I remember we went down from the airplane and the metro was empty. It was Saturday night.
Nobody is on the metro, no?
And it was very strange. It was like, what happened? Like we just arrived yesterday.
It's a ghost town.
Especially when the Canary Island didn't have a big impact at the beginning. They actually never had a very big impact. So there the situation was super, super okay. But when we arrived, I remember like we were kind of shocked from the situation. Well, in Milan, my parents even told me worst of the worst. My brother himself did the corona, by the way. So
he did. And how was he, or how is he right now?
He did it at the beginning, like whenever everything started in March. Apparently, all his company did it because all the colleagues had the same exact symptoms during the same weeks. So basically, he had fever during 2-3 days.
Okay.
And then he lost all the flavors and the taste of food.
Oh, I see.
That's it. These were the only 2 things he did. And then back then he called the number because he didn't know what to do. And they told him, if you don't have symptoms, if you don't have any bigger issues or any historical data you want to share with us, just take paracetamol, take care of yourself, and isolate yourself. I remember he needed to do that for the first 2 weeks. Then some of our neighbors as well did it. And I remember it was because he had antibodies by then. So he was doing the shopping for the whole building. Can you see me? Or can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We got stuck again a little bit. You were saying like he was becoming something of his building, and we got stuck.
Yeah. Basically, he was helping the whole building to do the shopping because at the end he was without risk, and the rest of the people just avoided and stay home. I remember. And that's it. He didn't have any problem. Now I think he's trying to come back to the office. Also, his office is about to open. He works in the chemistry industry. He's a chemical. So they have the headquarters in Milan. And the company is half German, half Italian. I assume they're trying to be back at office, but they're doing the tests apparently to come back. So he resulted positive with the antibodies test. So now I guess the next step is all the ones who are positive with the antibodies will also do the COVID test, the normal one, to just check if they have anything else. So,
well, let's hope that everything is okay. I have a few friends here in Spain, like they're also in a more traditional industry. Like one is in legal, and he's saying like their firm, in order to come back to the office, they need to do the test as well. And once they have been checked that nobody has COVID, and then they
Yeah.
can go to the office.
Exactly. Yeah. Even my roommate's parents, well, the father basically works for a company, and they, I don't know if you know it. It's a huge company that basically creates all furniture types, especially for kitchen. It's called Berloni.
Berloni, okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
kind of famous in Italy.
Uh-huh.
And basically all the employees needed to do the test in order to be back. So they, I don't know how they're dealing with it right now, but as far as I know, they do the test before starting again, and then they have masks, they have the gel, like all the general recommendations.
Who's doing the test, like the company or the government?
I think the company, because not all of them are doing it. So I guess the singular companies, depending on also the conditions where they are. I mean, if the people are like working very close to each other, it's kind of more safe for them to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the same time, for example, my brother's company, I'm not sure because they were doing smart working as well, like us. So we were all working from home.
Yeah.
I don't know if they probably like suggested to come back to the office, but not in a mandatory way. So, and actually I have another friend who's working for the Endesa in Italy, which is called Enel.
Okay.
She's working there, she's an engineer. And she told me that the company itself chose to be working remotely until January 2021.
Yeah, I think many, especially tech businesses, they are choosing to be more remote or extend the remote periods longer, just because they can, and there's no really need, you know. I've been told, like in Silicon Valley, many businesses, they even are offering permanent remote office for for employees, like Twitter and some other businesses, you know. So just because they want to really be cautious about like avoiding human contact at all, because until we have the you know the antivirus, it's not very safe to be near people. You never know.
No, especially because right now we are also having more freedom. So all of us are going out. We can meet family, we can meet friends. So the contacts start being numerous and as they were before. So I guess it was an internal decision. I don't know how they do it for the companies themselves, in terms that I'm sure they have their own buildings. I don't know. Probably it was more convenient for them to keep the team at home, or I don't know, reduce some expenses of the office. But yeah, I have different friends, and all of the companies at the end chose something. As far as I know, the country didn't give a specific regulations aside from the tourism industry, but the rest can basically choose by himself with their own management, basically what they want to do.
Well, speaking about expenses, like our landlord was very tough on the negotiation. Like we want, because as we weren't using the space at all, we wanted to kind of negotiate with them if they can reduce the paying rent or anything, you know. And they didn't reduce even a single penny, because they say, hey, as you guys are doing well, you're not being affected by COVID, you should pay the full price. And I mean, like, everybody should try to help in those situations, you know.
Yeah, we were asking in same thing happened in March. We didn't ask anything. In April, no. But for example, my roommate, she's in ERTE until the beginning, right? Because the tourism industries are completely stuck right now.
Yeah.
So we didn't question anything the first month. The second month, nothing. And the third month, we said, okay, maybe we should try to talk to the agency and ask if there's anything we can do, because at the end, we are home. You have more expenses in terms of electricity, for example, or the connection, and we are all home, and she's in ERTE from the beginning. So aside that, the ERTEs are also getting kind of late depending on the company. So we tried to contact the company, the agency, and they told us that it was okay, but it's not that they apply a discount on the specific months. What they do is, let's say now I reduce you the amount on the 10%, and then you're going to pay me back this 10% in the coming months.
Oh, so, I see. Basically, just postponing part of the payment.
Exactly. So honestly, we discussed it and we said, okay, then let's leave it this way. There's no point. As you said, our point was many of the most part of the country, especially depending on the industry, are on ERTE. Maybe they're not receiving a single euro for that.
Yeah.
We expect the agency to maybe said, okay, for these months, as an exceptional condition, we apply a 5% on the monthly basis rate or something, right? And they didn't do it, especially I'm sure because we know our landlord and we also know the agency. But
because how worried are you about the whole situation overall?
About Corona myself, I'm not very worried about in terms of possible contraction of the virus in that sense.
Yeah.
Because especially now I feel also more assured because hospitals are kind of free right now and they're 100% working in terms of real emergencies, because aside from Corona, the problem was that people every day have something and they have emergencies of other kinds.
Yeah.
So that was really like big. Myself, I'm not worried that much. I'm trying more to probably avoid to contact other or to give others problems, because at the end you may not have anything. We are kind of from the young population, so our reaction may be different. So what I try to do is avoiding to be in crowded places. I probably go shopping, for example, once a week only. I try to do it just once. When I'm in the open air, for example, so if I go around, I honestly feel kind of safe, especially because I'm in an area of Barcelona which is not really full of tourists. So
do you wear a mask and things like that?
Yeah. I mean, I always around with the mask. I don't use gloves anymore since they basically said that
it's not necessary.
Wasn't needed. Exactly. Like before, I bought 2 packages of gloves. Now I don't know what to do. Probably I'll clean the house with that. The most hilarious thing that happened was I went to the pharmacy when the big boom was it. And I went and there was a guy from the pharmacy that told me that there are different sizes of the gloves.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, then I don't know.
Yes.
No, wait, because he said S or L. And he told me the L is the small. I was like, are you sure? Like the S is like large.
Yeah.
And so he called the colleague, but he was not very sure. And so I was like, listen, give me the S and we make it sure. Huh?
Okay.
I took the S, but he probably was not very confident with English. So apparently the S was for the kids. So if I put the glove, I have like the glove arrive here, so it looks like a frog. I cannot open my fingers.
Okay.
So when I tried it, I was like, there are 100 gloves, 100. I cannot do anything. So I remember we laughed a lot. And it was like,
you can return it, or you can maybe
because especially now with all the regulations, if you open something because you touched it, it's
impossible. I see.
No. But of course, at the beginning, I'm sure you remember they increased the price like crazy for gloves, masks, and everything. So
it's crazy.
I was like, you give me 100 gloves for kids, and my hand doesn't fit. So it was very fun.
You need to shrink your hands, you know?
No. I decided now the trick, what I do is I put them and then I break them here. So it has oxygen. Otherwise, I cannot open the mouth.
Lose all the sense of the world, but at least you can use that.
Yeah, exactly. No. I avoid them. But yeah, the mask is always with me. So I also took the metro actually to come to Barcelona. I remember I had an appointment in the center.
Okay.
I honestly felt safe about it. Like people were respecting distances. You don't occupy all the seats. I don't know if you went out in this past weeks since
I did, but I never took like metro nor like buses. In fact, the metro station in my like home area is closed. Like nobody can take it.
Okay.
I guess some areas is more restricted than others. So
okay. No, I live near Glorias, so where the Torre Akbar is. Everything is open and that's fine. I took both bus and metro, but then it depends where I need to arrive. So this will be another issue. For example, on the weekend they cut times, so they're only open not anymore 24 hours. So I guess it will depend a bit.
Well, at least you can travel safely. That's the most important part, you know.
At the moment, we all feel fine. Let's see. Now I'm a bit more worried whenever they will open officially everything, because I expect the metro. Like if I think months ago, when in the morning I took the metro from probably 8 a.m. or 8:30, the metro was full of people, literally full, packed.
Yeah.
I really don't know what to expect now with the COVID. It's going to be impossible to maintain that distance here.
You need to check the beaches. You know, like in Barcelona, in the beaches. Like that's full of people.
I know. In fact, I was trying to go with my roommate on Saturday. We were like shocked. So the day after, we went to Castelldefels. Like I have a car here, so we went directly far away.
Right.
And then we completely different because there it arrives only one train or the car. It was kind of
it
isolated.
takes 30-40 minutes, something like that.
Less, yeah, 30 minutes. It's right after El Prat, after the airport.
I went there actually several times. I like there.
It's really cool because it's very quiet, it's chill. We had a very big space, so we stayed down, and that was much better. But Barcelona was like,
yeah, no, Barcelona is,
we didn't even know where to put ourselves.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And we still don't have so many tourists. Well, maybe starting maybe this week, people will come, but until now it's just people from Spain, you know.
Yeah.
When we sum that with like you know, people from other countries, then it will be like crazy.
That's right. And then unfortunately, because I also had this other experience during the quarantine, at the end of quarantine, we already passed, I think, phase 2, so we could go out. I remember we met, and I needed to take a taxi to come back home at night because there was no transport anymore, and there were no taxis. No, I've never seen Barcelona like that. I remember I walked 5 kilometers at 2 a.m. alone.
5 kilometers. That was
like, this is impossible. I arrived at a station of Guardia Urbana, and I entered.
Okay.
I entered, and they were like, "What's wrong? Can you call me a taxi?" Because literally it was impossible. And the woman was laughing because she said, "Yeah, other people told us the same." And then I talked to the taxi driver.
The Barcelona bicycle, you know.
I didn't have the account. Otherwise,
You
I would
didn't have it? Oh man.
Literally,
Okay.
yeah. No, but I would have never expected. You know, Barcelona is always full of taxi. Like whenever I'm in the middle, you would find something.
Such a bad luck, then. Wow.
In fact, the taxi drivers told me that with the license now, this is, I guess, Ayuntamiento told them, they can only like work twice a day, every agent, and then one is on rotation.
Oh, okay.
And of course, he told me like, of course, now we don't cover the whole city because if I have only 2 days when I work, I go to the most crowded areas, which may be a Chample or So he would have never expected to go at 2 a.m. in Diagonal or in another area.
Have you tried Cabify? Cabify, which is the taxi app.
Yeah, Cabify and Uber during the quarantine were working, like not always.
Okay.
It always depended because they work on demand. So depending on if it's night, if not, maybe they're not working. But the common taxis should be. In fact, they told me they also updated an app which is called Free Now, if I'm not wrong.
Free Now, yeah, correct.
It's the one used by the taxis right now, so I use that one. That one is supposed to work. But I was still surprised.
No, I think the Free Now is kind of the worst experience at all.
Yeah?
I have used it several times, but like even the taxis, they don't like using it because, you know, like they are charging taxis to be on it, and taxis don't like that at all.
There was this taxi driver, the one I like literally only. Could you? This meeting is great.
It is amazing. Like we have break 4 times.
Okay.
It's not stable at all. Wow.
Yeah.
So you were saying like the taxi driver was saying something.
Yeah, the taxi driver during the Corona basically told me that Free Now is the only one they are updating because I guess it's kind of the official one from Ayuntamiento. So he told me if you are at night, it's probably the only one by which you find a taxi available depending on the area. That's the only reason why I used it, but I was very surprised. I never saw Barcelona without a single taxi. In Diagonal, in like the Gran Via. I was like, really? How do I come back home? So
it's like ghost town.
That's
the same experience I had when I was in China, you know, like I was in the New Year periods where like everybody's coming home and cities should be very crowded, more crowded than usual. But the thing happens is like as the COVID started, everybody's staying at home. When you are going on the street, like you can see one car at most, you know. and that's never happened before in
Yeah.
China.
Yeah. I'm sure it was a very strange time. We had to experience this.
Yeah, no,
Let's
absolutely.
see. Let's
Even
see.
in the beginning, I was like very, how do you say that? Adventurous, when everybody's staying home, I wanted to go out because I'm saying like, hey, nobody's on the street. It must be the safest place.
Yeah.
And my parents got so angry with me, like they're saying, hey, you should stay home. That's very bad.
Yeah.
And eventually I got stable and stayed home, not
Yeah.
going out.
I guess really some places, of course, had a very bad experience about it. Some other places didn't feel it the same way. It depends a bit on the city and the cases.
Sure,
Right
sure,
now, I was just
exactly.
seeing today. Now South America is like a tragedy right now. So
Yeah.
I
I
guess
remember when everything started, we were saying, hey, as we have like customers all around the world, if Europe is becoming bad, we can always go, to US or to America,
yeah.
whatever. But now like the whole world is being affected by it, so there's no space.
Yeah, no, but lately all of my calls, and we are having all the whole team right now, we're having a lot of calls daily, I think, all of us.
Okay.
So one call, the first 10 minutes of the call is only, hey, how's the quarantine? How's the curfew? So what can you do and what can't you do? So this is the beginning of all the calls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm updated. It's like I'm on the news the whole day because they tell me exactly what they're doing right now.
Interesting. Interesting.
Depends on the areas.
But which areas are you talking to most lately?
No, they can be very like, for example, India or Saudi, Israel, but even South America, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, and they all experience different type of impact, honestly. Even the industries are all completely different, so we couldn't really say something is the same for everyone. But yeah, some countries are still in curfew, for example.
Okay.
But by the way, as a consequence, and I think it works as well for us, we've been working more hours.
Yeah.
So there's been this always contact. For example, yesterday I was talking to a client at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And then we said, okay, maybe we should continue tomorrow.
You leave it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, exactly. But everyone is it's always updated because you are 24/7 focused on what you're doing. So in that sense, I'm really happy about in general the new strategies, new plans. Very exciting every day. So
interesting.
Myself, I'm very happy about the result. Very curious with this last new strategy. I'm very, very curious to see the results of that.
We should maybe don't try to spoil it too much because we are launching it.
Exactly.
These videos will be public, so
exactly. No. Yeah, no, and that one and the ones like inside the team, inside the sales team. So
yeah, absolutely. I think since you guys transitioned to the customer team, a lot of things has changed and for good, and definitely you guys are hitting all the goals and it seems like things are working better than before. So very happy to see all this.
Yeah, I'm sure there are always like new strategies and new things that can be applied. At the end, it's all about trying and testing and see the result and choosing what's the best option. I'm very excited because lately, like we've been having a boost of ideas. Actually, I guess it's also because of the time that gave
too many ideas, right?
inspiration to choose something different every day, but which is kind of also exciting because you realize that there are plenty of possibilities and plenty of positive points and not only seeing the negative side of the whole period, which has been challenging for everyone. But
yeah. I think it's a weird moment because like we are seeing many people suffering and many companies, they are having hard time, but also at the same time we're seeing us doing reasonably well, and this gives us also some perspective like hey, maybe we are really onto something and we are doing this great work and it's seeing results. So it's kind of a very, very weird case here.
It is, yeah, definitely. Ours it is. In general, it's just thinking about that everyone can have ups and downs. In general, every companies, every business, and every industry. There will be golden ages for an industry and then for another one. But
Absolutely.
it's always good to keep on having and seeing the end of, or the window open, basically, for where we are going. That's the point. Because
Yeah.
like a huge thing can happen, and sometimes the path gets stuck for different reasons.
Yeah.
The point is to find how to reach behind that, because there's not only one way. So I'm
Yeah.
always a fan of that. So I'm very happy.
What is the key? You know what is the key?
What's the key?
Croffle.
I was about to say Croffle, but then I was like, okay, no, I'm not ready for this exam right now. I think I'm not.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Just a joke here.
Good, good, good.
Though we are, as you know, we are now updating the culture values here.
Right.
So maybe Croffle will become something else. Who knows?
I think I'm gonna, just in case, I'm gonna do a tattoo whenever we choose the new one, so I can always have it. It's like when you do an exam and you can copy it from somewhere, right? So I'm gonna tattoo Croffle or anything. So if someone asks me, I can just look at it.
You can always pick, right?
Exactly, like, just in case. But yes, yes.
Nice.
No, I'm very, very happy, and hopefully better things are also coming and will be better. So yeah.
For sure. Well, I think we have done very good talking today. It was interesting getting back to talk to you. I think it's been like maybe several months since we talked, right, in our last team building. So great to hear your part, and glad that everything is working well. All right.
The same. Hopefully we can finally meet soon, as soon as the regulations here are better set up.
Sure.
And yeah, we'll organize a new team building soon to make up for the whole quarantine.
Absolutely.
The meetings
Absolutely.
will be possible.
Stay in touch then, Marika, okay?
See you soon then. Take care,
Bye.
Jiaqi. Bye. Enjoy the evening.